Now, the thing is, most of your celebrities are told not to respond to a stalker, but how many of them get killed anyway? Most of them who have a male stalker, right? You're hearing more that even if they don't respond to the stalker, they get killed even at their concerts sometimes, right? And what difference does it make? Right? See, I'm trying to respond to my stalker to show them I'm a human being, right? Huh? To show them they're a human being, right? And that what they're doing is wrong, right? Well, the celebrity is told don't say that to them, right? And they're the ones who wound up getting stalked to the point that the stalker goes after them, right? Tries to shoot them or something, right? Or kill them, right? And if that's the case, it don't matter if you talk to the stalker or not, because I'm blacking out a little bit, right? For some reason, right? And all I know is I'm again only around myself, right? Or my family. If I go to a family outing, like, July 4th or something like that, right? Or family holidays, right? Like Thanksgiving or Christmas, right? Of course, most families, like I said, have their own lives, right? Even, the sons grow up, the daughters grow up, the gay people grow up, the straight people grow up, right? And go your own way usually too, right? Even Ellen's mom, for example, the talk show host, lives in New Orleans, and her daughter lives in LA, I guess, with Portia, right? Which is cool by me. Like I said, I don't care if two women want to get legally married. Why does it bother me? I want to make it a religious issue or something. And I'm making up like they're going to go to hell when I'm going to hell with them. What it means to go to hell means you're going to die for your sins. No, we're dying whether we're doing that sin or not, right? It's not stopping you from dying, fool. So maybe the problem is condemnation of a mistake, right? Or condemnation of something someone can do the opposite of, say, a straight person, right? Where in the Bible does it really say literally, I don't know. Now, when I tell you something's an abomination, I'm judging it, right? I'm condemning it with the utmost contempt. But if I'm writing it out in the book, right, and I also say a woman that's raped should marry the man who raped her, right, and he can't divorce her, right, doesn't it sound kind of crazy for that, right, too? It don't quite, seem logical. And that the answer for that is to stone the gay couple, right, and murder them, right, with death. The same with adultery, though, too, right? You're to stone both the man and the woman if you catch them in adultery together, right? Well, in John 8, two people were having sex, right, in the act of adultery, caught by the religious folks who brought them to Jesus, or one of them, as if she was his wife or something, right? Or it would matter to him who the woman even was. Right? But okay, right. Well, where's the man? Where's the man? Both in the Hebrew are to be brought forward, right? Not one or the other, right? If you're going to stone them, two are in that act, right? Not one. Both did it against you, and you're to stone them both, right? But did Jesus refuse to pick up the first stone, not only because of the woman at the well, where he didn't get caught, by the way, because he was in Samaria, and who would think that the Messiah would have sex with a Samaritan, right? Jacob? Which is where he met Rachel, too, right? I don't know. That's a coincidence, ain't it, right? What's a coincidence for the Messiah? Well, he too was by Jacob's well, right? Which was really Laban's well at the time. Right, right. And when Rachel and Jacob met, he fell in love with her at first sight, right? Well, comes this woman who Jesus knows was with 5 husbands and one lover, one lover. Yet did that night change her life forever, and her and the Messiah was up, right? As we would say today, right? Mm-hmm. And then she finally get her reproach, which is having a child, removed, right? And get pregnant by Jesus. Uh-oh. Scandal now. In the church, right? Because that's what John taught of in his Greek and Hebrew philosophy, right? To explain it to you where he thought you would understand what he meant, right? When I'm writing something to someone, right, I'm going to tell them in the language I'm speaking at the time, right? If it's Hebrew, Greek, fine, right? Well, the difference between Hebrew, Greek, and classical Greek is the Hebrews will add little consonants and vowels that the Greeks don't really use for certain words, like female breast, right? Right. Well, they spell that several different ways, right? The reason being is in the Hebrew it's spelled several different ways, right? One time it's spelled with a Y ending, right? One time it's without the Y, and then it's YM, Shadim, right? Well, that's at least 3 different spellings. Then it's Shadak, whatever that means, with the different consonant altogether, right? What is Moses saying there? Right? I don't know. Well, maybe it means women have different size breasts. I don't know. You got your A cup to your dolly cup, D cup. If you know what I mean. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know. But to look at the Hebrew and look at the Greek, you see they're trying to point out there's different spellings of that word in the Hebrew, right? Mm-hmm. And they also do it with the name of Jesus, right? Sometimes it ends with an S, but sometimes it ends with an N, right? Okay. What does that mean? What does that mean? Because there are different spelling for a reason, right? And I even seen it end with just a U or an OU or an O sometimes too. ESO, right? Whatever that means, right? But again, right, to know that you gotta read the Bible in Greek. We're just reading it in English. Right? From 1600 years ago, if you read the King James Version, right? Or so, right? After Jesus, right? And then now we got modern day English, which doesn't even remotely sound like old English, right? Where we're talking more fluidly, more wordy, right, if you will. And again, right, if you get the point, we're more, what's the word I'm looking for? Using more adjectives to describe things, right? Now, in the Hebrew and Greek, they don't use a lot of adjectives, right? Which what an adjective does is it describes something out further, I think. Or I might be wrong, who knows. But even if I'm wrong, we're more descriptive in our language than, say, the Hebrew or Greek were, right? Now, if Moses is talking about a man being alone who gets his seed of copulation, which is how the Bible interprets it, or semen, is how we would interpret it, or sperm, right? Which is in the semen, right? On his skin or garment while doing so, right? And his naked skin, right? Before evening, somehow. Which, if you're awake, and you're doing it before evening, what will we call that today? Masturbation? Right. Huh. So if we're masturbating here, which is the equivalent of what Moses is describing in the Hebrew, right? He says, do two things: wash, and your only punishment, or whatever you want to call it, your only resource, or if you think it's wrong, your only I don't even know if you call it that, a punishment, is you're unclean until evening, right? If you do it by yourself. If you do it with a woman, both of you are the babes, right? And then you're both unclean till evening, and that's it. That's it. Does that sound like Moses is making that a big deal, or you are? You are. For instance, the church told me that was wrong growing up, but still, I had a counselor to try to do that with a 14-year-old. Which the 14-year-old just jumped out the damn bed, got away from the motherfucker. But we were told not to talk about it. Isn't that true of most sexual encounters between an adult and a child during the 80s? You're told not to talk about it. Right? Even in a Baptist summer camp, which is a Protestant religion, right? Where the camp counselor is wanting the 14-year-old to feel something good, like he already did it. Now, then I had Pastor Davis in Chicago, near the town of Waukegan, having his little church party, right? And we just sit there casually talking, and he talks about masturbation being okay. Well, I said, okay. I never had a problem with it, right? I've been doing it most of my life. Right? Well, then I start looking into their unitship program, and this is where it gets weird. They talk about two men doing it together at the same time, right? And I'm like, well, nah, I don't know about that, right? Not that I understood the scripture I'm reading now, right? But again, now I can. Because I read the Bible how on my own, without the interference of some crazy modern pastor who was not around Moses at the time or Jesus at the time, right? He's putting in his own 2 cents, right? And making the truth of God alive. Now, if my only punishment is for that act, right, releasing my semen into the air instead of into a woman, right, is I'm just unclean the evening, either way, it's like I'm having some kind of sexual experience, right? But I'm only unclean until the evening if I do it, right? Which does that sound like Moses is making it a big deal? No. All I gotta do is wash it, I'm unclean until evening. That's under Moses' law, which does not stress any grace, right? But that the law is the law, and you can only do what the law says, right? No. Well, the law is telling me there I can masturbate as long as it's before eating and just wash myself after I masturbate, and then I'm just unclean till evening. If you're understanding what I mean, right? But now, other people in the church today are told that's so wrong, it's a sin. And you're going to hell for that sin, right? But you're not. No. You're going to hell for condemning people while you yourself may have done the sin yourself, right? And when you condemn people for doing the same thing everyone else can do, which is masturbation, even women can masturbate, men, right? It's just a different part of their anatomy, the top of their vagina, which is called the clitoris, right? They usually do, right? Though some do their whole vagina, some put their fingers in, which there goes the virgin idea, if they do, right? Of marrying a virgin anymore, right? And what about it if they do, right? You know, most women aren't taught to do that, but even in Angels and Insects, right? The girl playing the sister, and the man marrying her, you know, he didn't know the brother was involved. But then when they get caught together, she starts talking about touching herself in the dark, right? And stuff like that, right? You know, things you're not supposed to do, but you can do, right? Well, how far do you take that, gay people, right? If brother and sister can't have sex, right? That's what Moses means. Are two men or two women supposed to have sex, right? I'm just posing it to you as a question, not a statement, right? And again. But see, I don't care if someone's gay. Even if when I went to the ER, there was a kind of gay acting guy in the ER, I don't care. I don't care. Don't worry about it. I don't make it important to me. If it's important to him that people know he's gay, he's gonna let them know, right? If it's not, okay, right? But I don't know he's gay just because he wears his hair differently than me, or is bigger or smaller, or this or that, or you know has this kind of talk that people might associate with people they think are gay. Because if you watch TV, there are gay people on TV, right? But you might could do what's called try to make up a profile for gay people, right? To find out if someone might be gay, right? Well, one of those things is how the gay person talks, right? Like the guy from uh what's the show I'm thinking of? Mm, his name is Jim something, but anyway, he was on the show with Ted Knight, right? Where he had some daughters, right? I don't remember all the details, but anyway, but he talked in this real high pitchy voice that people come to associate with people being gay, right? Well, again, if you kind of talking like that, people could assume or guess if you're gay or not, right? And if you are, you are. If you're not, you're not, right? That's cool, either way. I'm not going to out you, though, right? I'm not going to not out you. I'm going to say, well, you kind of sound like the guy from, you know, uh, whatever that show was with Ted Knight, right? And his first name is Jim something, right? And he is rumored to have become gay after the show, right? And people thought he was gay while he was on the show, right? Now, unlike Jack and Chrissy and what was it? Three's Company, right? Where you got a guy with two girls living together, right? But the two girls aren't necessarily into a menage a trois with him, right? But because of old fashioned values, you're not supposed to live with two girls, right? But most of the jokes are about a menage a trois with the two girls, right? And Jack trying to sleep with the two girls, right? But again, the guy playing him is supposed to be a straight guy. But to the landlords, they made him gay. Which again, right, is to introduce you to people that are gay and maybe in the closet. Right. If you think about the premise of the show, you got one man who, because of phobias about men and women living together, who's living with two women, right? But it's purely what's the word? Not monogamous, but it's purely, well, that would be polyamorous, by the way, where you're with more than one partner, right? Platonic, right? Relationship with them, right? Because if they were straight, right, they would want to fuck each other, right? Because again, all men and all women just want sex, right? Which is the gay agenda, Well, the gay men can live with two women and not even care if they have sex, right? Is what they're saying. But at the same time, right? All right, polyamorous means I can have the menage a trois with the two women, right? And no one should judge me either. Because if I want to be with one woman or more than one woman, I should have the right to do that too, right? Now, what it is about, though, is gay rights, right? The show itself, right? If you really are following the storyline, right? And it's trying to show you we're not bad people. We don't want to sleep with everyone like you do. We're kind of monogamous a little bit too. We want someone to treat us right, right? And I get what you're saying. And I'm starting to really read the Bible, though, right? See, most people who show you the Bible don't read the Bible. Don't read the Bible. I know. Not all of it to you. See, they'll pick a story they like Sodom and Gomorrah. God cast out the gay people for trying to rape the angels. The wrath of God fell on them. And yes, it did, because they were trying to rape people. No. Not because they were gay about it, right? But because they would not respect other people's right to be a couple, gay or straight, right? And when they were invited into Lot's home, they got so violent about it, they were willing to break down the door to get to know them better. Now, we all know what that means in modern vernacular, right? Now, we don't know if it was a male and female couple or two males. We don't know all that detail. All we know is one in that time, right? 3 people went to Lot's brother-in-law, who was Abraham. I'm not sure of the exact nature of their relationship. They're related somehow. Or is it Abraham's younger brother or something like that, right? Well, Lot has his stuff and Abraham has his stuff, and they have this idea about, which way Lot wanted to go, and he chose the plains of Sodom, and Abraham stayed where he was at, which was Canaan, right? The plains of Canaan, right? And again, they separated, right? And as they were going through the process of Abraham trying to have a child with Hagar, and then Hagar getting pregnant, and then for 13 years he has the son Ishmael, and then suddenly the Lord returns to him and starts talking about having his son Isaac, right? Before he's conceived by Sarah. He also introduces circumcision to Abraham, right? Which, if your wife and you are having sex before that, right, and you circumcise your penis, would it not maybe feel different to the wife? I don't know. Right. Maybe, like she said, shall I have pleasure of my Lord, right? Or maybe she didn't have no pleasure of the Lord when she was living. I don't know, right? What she means there. Well, when she's talking to the 3 men who came to visit her, or 3 human beings, or 3 Enosh, which means mortal beings, right? Who are visiting them, right? And there are 3. There are 3. Now, after all this, they talk about her having a child as well, and she laughs privately within. So this is also after the commandment of circumcision is given, right? So that means Abraham and Sarah about to get it on again. Let's get it on. Little Bob McGee, huh? Right. And he's 99 and she's 90, right? Or almost 100, because it happened a year later, 91, right? So they get it on. Out comes Isaac a year later, right? As the men or the people said, right? Now, one of them stays behind with them. 2 of them go on to Sodom and Gomorrah. 3 people showed up. 1 stayed behind and 2 went on, right? 2 show up to Sodom and Gomorrah, right? 1 is still with Abraham, and The one with Abraham goes back into heaven, right? And the two in Sodom and Gomorrah lead Lot and his daughters out of Sodom and Gomorrah and his wife. And yet they're told not to look back because this is a light show, right? And you can get blinded by the light. Blinded by the light. Wake up like a douche into the rumble in the night. But you feel like I'm still preaching to you. But because we have religion in America, I'm going to preach to you. I got to preach to you, right? It's nothing personal, but it is in a religious text, right? And unless you totally destroy that religious text off the planet with burnt burning or something, which is a cruel practice and censorship, right? What you gonna do about it, right? Some people don't believe in gay relationships, right? Some people do, right? You still gotta find a way to get along on the planet, though. That's what I'm eating. That's what I'm eating, right? Whether you believe it in or not, people are still doing it, even if they're doing it in a different country that allows them to do it, right? And your country don't still, right? Well, all you can do if you want to do is come to our country or stay in yours, right? And hope your country's religion don't come over here. either. Which is part of the point. Okay, hope this helps you this morning.